those guys basically farmed organically, and we asked them, why is it not on certification? And one of the old guys said, because we're not doing it for the consumer, I'm doing it for my grandkids. And I think it's an attitude change that should be there, then you're going to make it successful.
I think that kind of sums it up. I think that brings us to a head. Just one more, sorry, Sandy.
Thank you. My name is Sandy Harper. I'm a Cape Wine Master, and it occurred to me that we've got amazing different pillars of thoughts and ideas over the past 2 days that possibly we have an opportunity to overlay them all. We heard about the Terra Clim and the amazing work that they have, and apparently at the moment it is free of charge. We've got the IPW, and they have their legislation which is freely available. We've got the regenerative, more or less benchmarks, ideas. There are some thought processes already that we are already doing. Why don't we overlay all of these into an app which can be given to our farmers with different climates, different conditions. They can overlay all these different inputs and come up with the best solution for their farm, block by block, is what we heard was possible. And that IP we can roll out to the rest of the world.
Thank you. Thanks, Sandy. I think that kind of sums up essentially what we face. We might like to call this a moral or an ethical dilemma. It can only be a dilemma if you decide to do the wrong thing. If you're doing the right thing, it's no longer a dilemma. It's correct. It's what you should be doing. And we should be farming responsibly. We should be farming regeneratively. It has to be commercially viable, otherwise we won't be farming at all. So that comes into it. There's a commercial aspect that is reality. The concept of organics is a wonderful marketing tool, and perhaps the time has come where we no longer need to use that as a marketing tool. The quality of what we do and the integrity with how we do it should be our only marketing tool. I'm going to leave you with that thought. I think we need to wrap up and move on. Would anybody like to add before we escape?
Just one more, promise?
Oui, bonjour, Philippe.
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Philippe Rocher. I am a winemaker close to Saumur. I just wanted to reassure our French South African colleagues, because my French colleagues, I think, would agree with me. We've taken a lot of time to convince. In fact, we mustn't impose a conversion from conventional to biological. There are many people who decided also, for various other reasons, to remain conventional. And what is important, though, is that there is an evolution and that it takes time to enable people to be convinced on the need as well. Because we are in a transitional phase, isn't it? We are transmitting. If a winemaker is working certain land, we will do it for a lifetime, and then he gives it over to his children. So there will be a new generation that will be aware of different factors. And as Evelyn said as well, and from an economic point of view, we need to also remember that we need to raise our prices, and that'll be some young winemakers in France are looking. In fact, they're just looking at the return, and that remain in wine farms that have been transmitted or been passed on, that have practiced a certain price X, and that stay with those prices. And they just want to break even without actually thinking that they will have to invest, and that they have to also have to re-inject into the economics, and that they would have to therefore increase their prices. So let's stay cool about all of this. We need to give it time. That's it.
I think that that's a good way to round this off, to finish this off, is that yes, it's commercial. It has to be commercial. It is certainly a responsibility to farm sustainably, and regenerative is coming to the fore. And ultimately, at the end of the day, your product and the way in which you conduct your product and bring it to the market is your best marketing. So if we could close at that point, I'd be happy. I'd like to thank my panel. I'd like to thank Jamie for his input and everybody else. And thank you very much. Thank you.
Voilà. Donc, merci beaucoup. On va continuer. Donc, you are free to, have a coffee, come in and go, but we're not going to break because we do have Professor Wessel that is going to continue immediately with his intervention about sulfur. Components in Chenin Blanc, is it a curse or a blessing? 5 minutes break and then please. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, realign, everyone goes for a 5-minute break. 5 minutes de break.